Hey, it's Tara, and I'm so excited to announce that we are offering a brand new program called the Bold Profit Academy Plus, and we're enrolling right now. As we start to wrap up the year, I know many of you have set your sights on how you can make 2022 your best year yet. But you're not looking for just any growth strategies or the same old growth strategies. You're looking for something new. You're looking for something that's profitable and straightforward that helps you keep more of the money you're making and prioritize your mental, emotional, and physical health. The Bold Profit Academy Plus is everything you get in the Bold Profit Academy. It gives you our proven resources around high quality lead generation, sales conversion, and profit first with more mentorship from me. Oftentimes, people want my eyes directly on their business and they want direct mentorship with me. The Bold Profit Academy Plus is where I roll up my sleeves and work with you on your business through implementation calls and hot seats. So if you're looking for increased organization and structure in your business so you can hit your goals with more ease, increased accountability so you do what you say you're going to do even when you have a lot of irons in the fire, oversight into creating the boundaries that are required to put your financial, emotional, and mental health first, and to actually implement the most profitable growth strategies with input from me so you can make 2022 the year you earn money in full alignment with your values, then I want you to head on over to the Bold Leadership Revolution /call and book a 15-minute call with me to see if you are a right fit for this program. I can't wait to hear from you. Welcome to the Bold Money Revolution podcast. This is your source for straight talking, no fluff, business and high performance conversations that add real depth and value to the way bold leaders live, work, and thrive. I'm your host, Tara Newman. I'm here to show you how to optimize your performance as a leader so that you can grow a business that is profit rich, efficient, and allows you to generate real tangible wealth for yourself and others. We are here to help you lead with your values, to perform without overwhelm and burnout, and to do your most important work in the world. Hey there, bold leaders. Welcome to another episode of the Bold Money Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Tara Newman, and I'm excited for these next couple of episodes. I don't know if you've kind of figured it out, but my episodes tend to go together. Like we tend to have like sets of episodes. As they roll out, I pick themes, and that's just the way I like to do things. It's the way my brain feels organized, and I'm really excited for this next set of episodes. I'm really just kind of debriefing and talking through some of the observations I've had over the last year and maybe what we can be considering as we roll into a new year, as we roll into 2022. Which I'm feeling very optimistic about. I'm excited to be taking a break because at the end of the year, we have a company-wide shutdown for 2 weeks where we are completely closed. Our contractors are not working. And we have also decided this year, based on wanting to prioritize our mental health, my mental health, the mental health of my team, whether they are an employee or a contractor, that once a month we are going to be closed for 2 days as well. So once a month we're shutting down for 2 days, no Slack messages, no communications, just take a beat. And I'm super excited to be implementing that and rolling that into the new year as well. Now, every so often I peep the podcast stats. And I've noticed an uptick in downloads, which means y'all took me seriously last month when I was saying that I don't want to give Zucks a dime. And if you didn't hear me say that, that's kind of at the end of the last couple of episodes I did. This is going to be relevant. How can we minimize the influence that social media has on our businesses? And how can we maximize social media to have a more positive impact on our businesses? Because the disruption in technology companies this year has had a really profound impact on small businesses. And so it's no secret that I am not a big fan of Mark Zuckerberg, as I have issues with his ethics and values over at Facebook. I don't find him particularly bright when I hear him speak or when I read his documents from his meetings, which I sometimes do. They make them public, and I'm like, this guy really has a great pulse on what he's got going on over there. So, I tend not to give Facebook money for ads. I've also seen business owners gamble big on ads and not have it pay off. And even when it led to revenue, it took a big hit on their profitability. And that is also against my values. Now, this isn't every business. Businesses that have a high actual customer lifetime value, are super niche, or e-commerce businesses probably do okay with ads. But running Facebook ads requires data and a very dialed in sales process that converts. It's always easier to convert warm leads than cold traffic. And listen, if you're running ads, if you're playing with ads, totally cool. To be honest, I might even play with some ads in 2022 just because I want to have some research and data for myself that I'm seeing being reported out by people around the statistics around the efficacy of Facebook ads. So I might dabble in that just for my own research experiment. This is no judgment for you if you do that. However, I'm committed to showing business owners that there are other options, like creating highly valuable content that demonstrates you've taken the time and care to know your target market better than they know themselves, and then have the courage, the boldness to talk about the things that others might not be talking about so that you build trust with the people who you want to serve. And then in turn, those people support you in small and big ways. My goal is always to be so good that people are compelled to share my work so I never have to give Zucks a dime. So please share. Please review, put time on your calendar to take action from what we talk about today. Being inspired isn't enough, and it's definitely not going to be enough in 2022. As always, I want you to hit me up on Instagram. Drop me a note, a voice message. I'm committed to being in this with you. And the only reason why I actually use social media, Instagram specifically, is to engage in meaningful business dialogue with small business owners like you. So I'm there for the engagement. I'm there for the conversation. And so I really want to welcome you all to make sure you head on over to @Tara and say hi, to introduce yourself, to share something. I'm there for the conversations. Today, I want to share some observations that I'm reflecting on as I plan my curriculum for the Bold Profit Academy and our brand new program, the Bold Profit Academy Plus, where you get everything that's inside the Bold Profit Academy, but additional mentorship and structure with me through implementation calls and hot seats. My observations are coming from anecdotal evidence. And what I mean by that is I collect this information from my clients, from community members, and from daily conversations that I'm having with small business owners. And I really run with a very diverse group of small business owners. I talk to people online. I'm really into talking to small business owners in my local area. I talk to small business owners who have service-based businesses, who are selling products, who are running manufacturing businesses, construction. It doesn't matter to me. And to be honest, there are a lot of themes that go across all businesses. It's not always as individualized as someone might think. So before we even get to my main set of observations, I'm going to give you my bonus observation first. It's that I need to share a disclaimer because I've watched so many people cobble together free advice and do harm to their earning potential. I've got a client who has a very specific sales strategy. And when we created it, we did it based on some very unique factors around their strengths, around their personality, around things that they really, really had some challenging beliefs around and mindset. It was a very specific strategy. And this person was willing to test it to see if it worked, knowing full well that it might not work. And over the past year, I've had at least 5 people say to me, oh, so-and-so is doing this, so I am too. And they're copying my client's strategy. And I just shake my head because that was a strategy she paid me to develop with her based on her unique circumstances. And you have no idea if it's actually working. You're not behind the scenes of that business. And every day people are copying tactics from people they see on Instagram, on social media specifically. I do not see this in my clients who do not have online businesses. And while they might look successful based on their branding, their personality, their manner of communicating, you have actually no idea if they are making money. And if they are making money, if they are keeping the money they are making. All right. So if you want support in your business, you should really pay for it. Consulting, coaching, creators, knowledge workers deserve to be compensated for their experience and their expertise. So here's my disclaimer, my boundaries. This content, as always, is meant to be informational, and I ask that you use your own agency and critical thinking when making decisions about your business. Running a business requires investment in time, energy, and money. It's not something that can be built and sustained by cobbling together free advice from the internet. And this honestly just isn't about business. This is about anything. This is about, you can insert anything into requires an investment of time, energy, money, relationships, health, right? Like so many things require that level of investment. And I'm at the point in my truth telling where I'm going to say something that is going to be hard for some of you to hear. And I say the hard things with the deepest respect and from a place that I want to serve. It's never meant to denigrate. So if all you can afford is free advice from random Facebook groups, Instagram reels, freebies, then you might be better off not running a business. There are a lot of jobs out there that you can do. It is a hot job market right now. I've got friends negotiating much bigger salaries than they thought possible and a lot more flexibility in their schedules. And I am always, always, always here for you prioritizing your mental and emotional health. And sometimes that includes your financial health and how your financial health is impacting your emotional and mental health. And if you need to get a job, please, there is no shame in that. Your financial, emotional, and mental health are so important. And businesses require investment. They require you to pay people like accountants and lawyers for contracts. And you're going to need support in your business from support staff. And you'll most likely need to invest in some kind of business or money education because you're most likely a real, true, credible expert in what you do with lots of years of expertise. But that thing you do might not be in business or in money. And here's the other thing. I consider myself to be an expert in business and money education, and I still invest in coaches and consultants to help me in my business and with my money. The same things that I coach and consult other people on, because I want a different set of eyes. I want someone to challenge the way I'm thinking about something. I want someone to make me check in on my accountability and my integrity with my work and am I avoiding something and what do I need support in prioritizing? And even though I do this for a living and I invest in these people as well, they help me see my own work through a different lens, and it makes me better. It makes me so much better at what I do. And then I can add value to my clients. And when I can add value to my clients get better results. And when my clients get better results, then it leads to more sales. So, these are truly, profitable. There are truly profitable ways that you can be investing in your business that add value to the whole ecosystem of you doing business. I've seen way too many people try to, keep their investment in their business super low, and it fails. I was just talking the other day. I was just on it was an interview. That's what it was. It was an interview for this person's event. And we were talking and she said, she implements profit first. And she was saying how like the first year or two in her business that she was reinvesting everything into the business. And that's accurate. I want to normalize that. I want to normalize that it does cost money to get your business up and running and to keep your business running. And I want to normalize that you're going to have to make these investments. All right. It would be really unprofessional of me to let anybody believe otherwise. Also, if you're not willing to invest in your skills, knowledge, abilities, into yourself for improvement, take yourself seriously in that way, think about what you're attracting into your business. It's just not congruent to ask people to do something that you're unable or unwilling to do for yourself. So that is my first observation that I'm going to make. And that was actually my bonus observation. And with that, here are 5 observations for growth-oriented small business owners, most likely like you. So observation 1, it's time to take ownership seriously and do some of your own Googling. And I'm going to talk about what I mean by that. Most business owners, especially if they're heavily reliant on or spend a lot of time on social media, they're not engaging in real business news and industry information. They are engaging in business entertainment, in the memification of business, and recycled content that says the same thing over and over again in a more boring and inaccurate way each time somebody copies a style or advice. I'm on the same platforms as you. I see it happening all the time. If you're relying on headlines or even avoiding the news because you want to stay positive or protect your energy, you're making a choice to be uninformed and disengaged from critical thinking. 2 things that are required to make business decisions. For example, I can feel the hesitation right now that business owners have. And when I say feel, I mean energetically feel it from people when I talk to them, even though they're not saying this. But I can feel the hesitation right now that small business owners have in making growth decisions. They are feeling uncertain and maybe afraid of the unknown. They're feeling maybe fatigued and unsure and, maybe a little not trusting in self at the moment. And if you're skimming the headlines or scrolling through the newsfeed, you're most likely to believe that the economy is in a grim state, right? We're seeing things about inflation. We're seeing governments arguing. We're seeing, climate things happening. But the reality is the economy is actually doing incredibly well. And there has never been more opportunity and prosperity, yet people think it's dire. There was a New York Times article, and it was titled, "Americans are flushed with cash and jobs. They also think the economy is awful." And this was written by Neil Irwin. And he talks about the psychological effects of inflation and says Americans are, by many measures, in a better financial position than they have been in many years. They also believe that the economy is in terrible shape. And this is leading to people deliberating too long in their businesses around what direction to take, making investments they need to move forward, and solving the problems that they actually have. I've seen an overabundance of hemming and hawing and wait and see. You're not being discerning, you're in fear, and it's costing you opportunities daily. I'm going to give you a totally personal example about something that I did, made a quick decision, and I was able to take advantage of an opportunity to really make more money and get my money working for me. So about 8 weeks ago, I accidentally decided to buy some Tesla stock because it dipped. And I hemmed and hawed for a few minutes. I absolutely did, and came to the conclusion that if something really dire happened to Tesla, then we are all way more screwed than anything. So I jumped in, and now 8 weeks later, I am up 74% in my investment. If I waited, if I wasn't sure, if I got into like the sky is falling, the economy is collapsing, then I would have never bought that stock, and I would have never made that money over the last 8 weeks. And by the way, that was money that I made using the money I make in my business. I invested in the stat stock, so it made more money for me that I didn't have to work for, right? This is why I want you to be profitable, because I want you to start being able to make these decisions. And I know for some of you, that feels really far away. But if you just start to engage in the conversation, if you just start to engage in the dialogue, it happens a lot faster. Now, some of you are probably like, but Tara, what happens if it all collapses, right? The market, the economy, the state of business is always ebbing and flowing. It will lose steam, slow down, and become recessive. That's a fact. We have data on that. But we also have data that wealth is created in times of economic recession. I've seen statistics that have said about 50% of businesses are started during recessive economies. And by the way, we are not in a recessive economy. I'm just making a point. We're seeing that now, as people are entering entrepreneurship at an accelerated rate because something happened to create disruption, to create a little chaos. Chaos is opportunity. Chaos isn't something to be feared. And B, this really comes down to, do you trust yourself to always be okay? So what? So what if you lose some money? So what if the economy goes to shit for a bit? Do you trust yourself to figure that out? Do you trust that you will always make money? That you will rise to the occasion and fight your way through? What's going to cause more problems in our economy is mass amounts of people operating from their feelings, which are not actually facts. And so that is really why I want you to spend some time and take ownership seriously and do research and to read articles that are talking about the real things that are happening in the world. Be curious. Be willing to not have all the information, because I know some people will read. This happens to me and my husband sometimes. So my husband is the kind of person who will read a book and he has to understand like every part of it. And if he doesn't understand it and he can't grasp it, then he puts it down. I can read something, and this does not make me better, it just makes me different. I can read something and be like, okay, I really don't understand what that means, but like I can zoom out and get the gist of what is being said and continue on with the information. And I think sometimes what happens for people is they don't understand something, or something feels like, hard to conceptualize, and they just avoid it completely instead of zooming out and going, okay, what's like one thing that I can take away from this article or from this thing? And listen, if you see cool articles, if you're out there researching, if you don't know what something means, ping me, send it to me on Instagram. I'm always reading this stuff. I love this. I am super nerdy like this. I'm happy to break down articles or have a deeper conversation if that's what you want to hear on this podcast. Right? So hit me up at the Tara Newman. All right. Observation number 2. Generating leads and converting leads to sales are two different things entirely. Okay. I'm hearing a lot of time, money, and energy being put into generating leads without any ability or knowledge or confidence in converting the lead to the sale. Leads for the sake of leads does not make sense, which is why in our program, the Bold Profit Academy, we focus on finding your invisible leads, the ones that are already there. People come to me all the time, Tara, I have no leads. I'm like, nope, you really do. Trust me, we can find them. We can find your invisible leads and convert those before spending more money on generating new leads. So this is an observation that I'm making. If you are head down focused on generating leads, but you're also not making the sales you need to make, we have a disconnect that we need to have a conversation about. Those conversations happen in the Bold Profit Academy. Observation number 3. This was a very cool observation, by the way. I'm super stoked about this one. So in the Bold Profit Academy, we have a curriculum that we go through in the second quarter. So we have a couple of pieces of curriculum. One is around lead generation. One is around creating your boldest offer. One is around aligning your sales system. And one is around implementing profit first. And we do those based on quarter because these are the things you always need to be working on in your business. And we do them in that order for a reason. So why do we focus on lead generation in Q1? We call it revenue acceleration because Q1 is a great time to be planting seeds. And that's what we're doing. We're planting seeds. We're identifying these invisible leads. We're seeing how much we have. We're engaging with them so that in either right away or within 90 days, that the sales start to come through. right? And then in Q2, we look at creating your boldest offer because you were just in a sales cycle with this revenue acceleration. You have learned something about the offer that you are selling. And we want to use what we've learned from Q1 to improve upon our offer in a way that allows us to increase our price, to make it easier to deliver, or to create something new for the offer stack. And what we found in Q2 was that women were really inclined to create a downsell. They wanted to create an offer that was lower than the one that they were creating. And I said, no, you're not going to create a downsell. I want you to create an upsell. And listen, this offer creation curriculum, you can use it in lots of different ways. One of the ways that I love to think about offer creation is being creative, right? This is my way to be creative, is creating new offers. And just play with it. Create something. You don't have to sell it, but let's see, try it on. How does it feel when you talk about it, when you share it, when you think about delivering it, right? So we had people create this upsell or an upserve, as I like to call them. And they created programs that were a little more one-on-one support or live support, right? And that we were giving the people more. We were upserving. And what we found was that during slower seasons, people were having an easier time selling the premium priced offer with some live or one-on-one support. People are a little tired right now of automated stuff. They want a human. People have limited capacity to do one more thing. They want to be guided better. All humans crave to be led, right? We need to be giving more thought about what is actually happening for the people we want to serve, know them better, and how do we then create better solutions, not just for them, but for us too. We want these solutions to be a win-win. We don't want it to be heavily skewed to what your audience or your customer wants. And we don't want it to be so heavily skewed that this is necessarily the only way that you're willing to work, because that might become limiting. And we have to reflect on the relevancy of our times right now and really understand that what worked for people before might not be working for them now. And how do we need to shift and adapt and be innovative to find these solutions? This is one of the main reasons we've created the Bold Profit Academy Plus as a new offer. Countless conversations with small business owners needing help creating the financial stability in their businesses that allows them to support their mental health and emotional health, feeling anxious and stressed about their businesses, and wanting more support, but also feeling the very real fact that they have overspent on solutions that they didn't feel were helpful. Now, I didn't then go and say, okay, I'm going to slash my prices. No, I'm going to create an offer that I can deliver at the price point and the support level that these people are asking for, and create something new. And so that's really what we did around the Bold Profit Academy Plus. Okay, observation number 4. Your buyers are becoming really discerning, perhaps skeptical. I know my buyers. If you're listening to this and you're like, I want to work with Tara, and you're a potential buyer, check in. Listen, I hear every single call I have talks about the thing they bought that didn't work, the bad experience they had in someone's program, feeling traumatized by what a mentor or coach had said to them or treated them in a certain way that they felt invalidated by. This is coming up all the time for me in the last few years. So we have to be present to that. And no matter what your industry is, and I want to give you a case in point, and I really love the point. So my mom clicked on a Facebook ad and bought my daughter a bracelet with a motivational saying. Next thing you know, she's being charged every month for $29.99, but isn't receiving anything additional to the original bracelet that she had bought. So super, super sketch, right? So I do a quick internet search, and a perusal of the Better Business Bureau has turned up thousands of people like my mom with the same complaint about the same company. It was a giant headache between credit card companies and trying to get a hold of this company. Do you think my mom is going to click on a Facebook ad again? And do you think she's going to buy something from a Facebook ad? Most likely not, right? You might be thinking, but I'm not like that, right? Like, you are a reputable company that sells gorgeous bracelets. This is absolutely true. But what is also true is that your potential buyers are being bombarded and burned on the regular. This is why you need to be so specific and direct in who you work with, the problem you solve, how you're going to help somebody, the time it takes, the ability to tweak and evolve, the tenacity required, right? Like, it takes work on both ends. It takes work to have these boundaries and communicate in this way. And I am looking at this and reflecting upon this weekly, right? Like, this is what I really encourage business owners to be doing, is to be reflecting on this stuff weekly and then iterating and implementing and applying. And it takes work for the other person if you're a service-based business owner, right? For you to be like, listen, this isn't a quick fix. This isn't a 1, 2, 3 kind of a thing. And if you're okay with that, then let's work together. But if not, maybe I'm not the right person for you, right? And it's really about setting those expectations. In my mom's case, it was this expectation that she clicked on an ad, she bought something, she would receive it, and then not be continually charged. So we have to really be conscious again of like what is happening in the world and what is happening around us and what is happening for our prospective buyers. And my last observation is around just the volatility and disruption that we are all doing business in, right? We are doing business in a volatile and disruptive time. And to be honest, this is really nothing new. The world is always volatile and disruptive. It just looks a little different or has a little different flair or might be hitting you differently than it would in the past. But this is really nothing new. This year, though, has been massively disruptive with Facebook changes, ads being shut down with little understanding why, Instagram deciding it wants to be like a weird ass mashup of YouTube and TikTok. It's easy to jump on every fad. But even Instagram has admitted it's in a highly experimental phase over the next 6 months, and things will be changing. They're always testing. So just as you get used to one thing or pay to learn a new fad, then something is likely to change. Businesses that have focused on using social media as a business delivery system are on shaky ground. If your programs are delivered in a Facebook group, you're using a free Facebook group as your primary nurture vehicle, you're solely or heavily reliant on ads to generate leads, you're someone who's regularly using Facebook Live to reach your audience, that's unstable. Will social media up and disappear one day? No, it's not. It's here to stay, right? Is social media still a great tool to engage with people you want to reach? 100%? Absolutely. I love using Instagram to engage in real conversations. Will the internet be providing tons of opportunities for years to come? You bet. But the internet is a very big place, and it's something that's separate from the 2 social media platforms you might be on. You are going to want to dig into some of the statistics on the social media platforms you're on, see who is actually using each platform, and is that the biggest concentration of your best fit client? Many of my best and highest paying clients don't use social media at all. There is more than one way to grow your business. Service-based businesses that are clear about who they help can identify an underserved market with the right solution will always be able to charge more, which requires less volume. That doesn't mean no volume. That doesn't mean you still can't have a lot of volume. But when you need huge amounts of volume, you do need to rely on paid advertising strategies, which become less predictable. We have to be willing to spot the challenges in order to create new opportunities. That's why I wanted to make these observations. I'm sure you're making observations as well. When we understand the overall landscape, step outside our bubbles, and consider varying perspectives, there is so much more possibility. I would love to hear what you're observing and thinking about as you wrap up your year. So hit me up over on Instagram. I'm at the Tara Newman. It has been a privilege to share this episode with you. Please know that I believe in you and the power of small business ownership. Take good care. If you've found this podcast valuable, help us develop more bold leaders in the world by sharing this episode with your friends, colleagues, and other bold leaders. Also, if you haven't done so already, please leave a review. I consider reviews like podcast currency, and it's the one thing you can do to help us out here at the Bold Leadership Revolution HQ. We would be so grateful for it. Special thanks goes to Stacey Harris from Uncommonly More, who is the producer and editor of this podcast. Go check them out for all your digital marketing and content creation needs. Be sure to tune into the next episode to help you embrace your ambition and leave the grind behind.